Hi everyone and welcome back to the Colour Cave where we like to play with art stuff. My name is Jem and I have a gigantic box in front of me. I've actually had to move my microphone because I can't get everything in. This is a box from Upcrate, as you can see, and today we are going to be doing this gigantic unboxing of their big Christmas box, which is what this bad boy is. I know this is going to be quite interesting for a lot of you. Maybe you're living vicariously through the cave videos for this one, or maybe you're thinking about really treating yourself. It is worth noting a couple of things before we start digging into this box. First of all, I'd like to thank Upcrate very much. They sent me this box for free. All I did was pay the shipping, which from Germany to the UK was €16. Super bargain. The other thing to note about these big Christmas boxes is the contents aren't exactly the same in every box. Now, I know this is going to throw up a whole bunch of questions, but we are here today to see what's inside and see whether it is worth the retail value, which on the website is €89. Here are some conversion rates for you just to some of the other common currencies. They do claim that the contents are worth over €160. So I'm hoping that you'll enjoy this little journey with me today and we can see what's actually going on inside the box. I'm going to have to move the box out the way, but we will go to top down view and we can get going. Like, I actually don't know what to do with this. I suppose first things first, we really need to open it. I think I'll open it and then I'll kind of like shove it to the side and I can just like do a conveyor belt effort and maybe reposition my mic again. That might be an idea. Alrighty, McHo-ho. It is an Upcrate branded box. I'm sure you saw it earlier. It does have the Upcrate logo and everything on it, and even the tape has Upcrate on it and it says it's art inside. I'm curious to see whether they've just piled loads of stuff into this box. I don't know about you guys, but this is exciting. oh, everything is literally just crammed in here. Let's hide that just now. Upcrate's big Christmas box, big unboxing. Get the full refund for the best Christmas unboxing. Upload your unboxing on Instagram. Okay, so I'm kind of backwards. I didn't pay for it in the first place. But that's really nice that they're doing that as well. A happy Xmas artsy people. Have fun with your bog box. I think that's supposed to say big box. I will forgive that typo because that's quite a funny one. And it could quite easily have been a typo because I and O are next to each other on the keyboard. So yeah, the first thing we've got here is one of the tote bags. I have a suspicion that a lot of the supplies in this box are going to be things we've had in previous boxes. This indeed came in one of their boxes and it was kind of like fabric paints. This was my original one here and this is the design that I put on the front. It's got a few dirty marks and things on it, but that's because I actually use this. This is the bag that I use to take the shop orders to the post office in now. So I'm actually really glad that I got that. So I don't know whether I maybe put a design on this one and put that into the stash shop and somebody could have a one-of-a-kind exclusive tote bag. Ooh, Van Gogh National Gallery oil pastels. Well, now that's fancy. So these are Royal Talons, obviously they own Van Gogh brand, and we have a full set of 24 oil pastels. Well, that's nice, isn't it? And these have quite a high light fast rating. I do seem to remember reading about these at one point. These oil pastels characterised by striking colouring power and remarkable softness which enable them to release colour easily. Can start working straight away. They are suitable for several grounds like paper, cardboard and wood, and this set contains 24 colours. Well, oh, isn't that nice? Well, I would say that's we're off to not such a bad start at all. This is another repeat item and this is the masking tape. I have a roll of this. I've used mine. I've used it to tape down larger paintings and I have to say I quite like the stickiness of it. So a roll of that's always handy to have. We have a water brush. I don't know if there's, I'm assuming there isn't going to be a contents list for the simple fact that not all the boxes have got exactly the same things in them. Okay, this is the one with the plunger thing in it. Yeah, that I didn't really understand. Okay, cool. I can't remember what brand this is, but it has quite a fine brush on it. Fill it up. Job's a good one. Okay, I will have to try and find out what brand this is. What have we got next? A Winsor Newton 0.8 fine liner. Almost sure that came in a previous box. Yep, right here. Still got mine. So I actually quite like this fine liner, and I have actually been using it quite a lot. It's got a really long ferrule or casing, whatever you want to call the metal part that protects the nib. That's really good if you are if you're using a ruler and you're working at quite a tight angle, because it helps protect the nib from fraying, especially if like me, the very odd time I do use a ruler, it's usually a metal ruler, so that's pretty good. Okay, we've got some loose stuff here. Okay, so here's one of the textile pens that came with the bag. I've only got one, I think, but that's okay. This little Da Vinci brush, I love this brush. I really, really like that brush. It is synthetic, but you would be forgiven for thinking it's real hair. Really nice size as well. Yep, impressed with that. We've got some more paint brushes. We've got a number 6 Artpace synthetic brush. I love these brushes. These are very similar to the Sea White of Brighton ones that I stock in the Stash shop. It's just that the fibres are a golden colour instead of white. These are fairly reliable, and I've said this before, they're not expensive, these paint brushes. I seem to be a person that gets on well with synthetic brushes, and cheap brushes at that. And we've got another one of these Lucas brushes as well, which I was informed was more of a craft brand because I'd never heard of them. So far we are seeing things that have been in previous boxes. Okay, we've got a little package. Happy New Year. Let's pop these out the way. Love the colour of this paper. Okay, so this is a charcoal set. Winsor & Newton Artists Charcoal. Little Artist's Glove. For those of you that are unfamiliar with these were originally used for digital artists so they could rest their hand on their drawing tablet, and what it meant was that the screen wouldn't pick up this part of your hand, so you could actually lean on your screen. That's where these gloves started. We have since found lots of useful uses for them. I would say that glove is probably a medium size. I've got really, really small hands, and I've got a wee bit of extra finger length, but it's not particularly loose or baggy round here, so maybe if you've got larger hands like Mr. Jem, he's got hands like shovels, might not be such a good fit. I just want to compare it to the one that I've got here. Yeah, look, this one's dinkier. This is the one that way. Ah, that's funny. Okay, I'm going to leave that little set all together. So we've got some white pencils here, pastel. We've got a Lyra Rembrandt. That was difficult. White pastel, and a Hardmouth Gioconda white charcoal, and this Läufer pencil as well. I kind of vaguely remember having some of these plies. This is difficult for me because I've had so many subscription boxes for such a long time. They do sometimes like mesh into each other, and I can't remember what I've had from what boxes. You guys will be able to tell me down in the comments, and I'm sure you will, if these have been in Upcrates before. Yeah, so we've got a selection of chalk, charcoal, pastel pencils, a nice Läufer kneaded eraser as well. I love these. These are amazing. That's actually quite a nice little set on its own. Okay, I'm just going to keep that wrapped up in there. I love the fact that they've wrapped that separately in tissue paper in order to keep everything else clean. That was quite thoughtful of them. Oh, this Liquitex soft body acrylic. This is in burnt umber. I can talk about this because I actually still have the items. These were the ones we got in an Upcrate, and it was the muted turquoise and the muted violet, and these colours are absolutely beautiful. And I did a little bit of painting. I've actually still got an unfinished painting as well. Oh my goodness. Using these colours. I really, really, really enjoyed this paint. And I mean, I've got acrylic paint coming out of my ears, but to have it in a different colour, transparent burnt umber, that's really interesting as well. So that's a nice addition. This is something that definitely hasn't been in a subscription box. It's really, really nice paint to work with. Oh my. Speaking of acrylic paint, a set of Winsor & Newton acrylics. These are the Galleria, easy for me to say, the Galleria Acrylics, and for those of you that watch the channel regularly, you will know that this is a paint I actually use. This is a student grade paint. I really like it because it goes on very smooth. It's easy to get rid of your brush strokes, and the colours are quite a flat matte, which is great if you're going to work over the top of them, which I normally do in either gouache or pencil. So this is a lovely tips and techniques set. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tubes of the acrylic paint, and all the colours that you would expect and need. So we've got yellow, processed magenta, processed cyan, burnt umber, ivory and titanium white. But in addition to that, there looks to be, oh right, opens up. I was going to try and slide that out there. They're apparently, oh look at this little bad boy in here. Tips and techniques. There's like a little reporter's notepad. Colour mixing, the colour wheel, talking about acrylics. This is so good. So good. Choosing the right brush. Oh, I love this. And that is actually a pad of the Galleria acrylic paper, which I have got a bigger pad of it. I like that paper too if I'm just working in acrylic. Okay, so that was clearly supposed to be stuck down there to keep it secure. That's like, this is good. I like this a lot. And what a nice little set. Look, just little magnetic fastening down the side. Tells you on the back what's in it. Yep, I'm really happy about that. We have got 2 Winsor & Newton inks. These are drawing inks, and I absolutely love these little bottles. If you haven't seen these, just wait for this. Oh, look, they're so cute. So this is emerald, and I think this is sunshine yellow. Yeah, sunshine yellow. Again, already have a set of these. These inks are lovely. I used to use these a lot at Inktober before I started being silly and doing stuff like Cavemas, you know, back when I had time to do stuff like that. But these are really nice, and again, you can use these as a wash to draw over the top of, and you can use them with dip pens, you can use them with brushes. Very versatile, water soluble, and dry to some really beautiful shades. So nice to have 2 of those as well. Oh, here is more fabric paint. This was again the set that came with the tote bag, so this should really have been in with the marker and that lovely raspberry colour, which is just great. I like that, surprisingly I like that paint a lot as well. Okay, we've got some loose stuff here. We've got another Gioconda white coal pencil. I think these are the items that are probably the random items in the box, which are probably left over from subscription boxes. Obviously the likes of this wasn't in a subscription box, so I think, and I'm purely surmising here because Clemens at Upcrate didn't specify anything to me, probably deliberately, but I think they've maybe built a core box and then sort of chucked in the leftovers from some of the boxes just to kind of like bump it up a little bit. That would be my guess. I might be wrong. Okay, we've got one of the Maped Oops pencils. Yeah, that was in a subscription box. We've got another one of those Gioconda white pencils, as I mentioned. Spectrum Noir art liner, possibly also in a box. Don't remember this. 0.5. It's got quite a nice little nib on it. There you go. That's pretty nice. Like the look of that. And what looks like my mortal enemy here. A really cheap pony brush. I call these a pony brush. They're usually made with really coarse hair. I don't ever remember getting one of these. This is not a good start to a paintbrush in my eyes. This will be kept for crafty things, if anything. And I've also got one of the Artpace brush pigment liners as well. This is lovely. I was quite excited about this. It's a really nice brush. Okay, there's an actual Upcrate box in here. Oh my god. Oh my god. Do you know how I'm always saying I'm swimming in acrylic paint and I really don't need any more? There's all sorts going on in here. It's a box within a box. Right, let's have a wee look. Okay, we've got some of the Liquitex Basics colours. These were ones that came in quite a recent box. This is a lovely set of paints. It's a lovely set of colours. You can do quite a lot of portraiture with this. I did mention that before, and I would highly recommend them. I actually kept this set of paints because I like the colours for myself, so I would highly recommend for that. Deco Acrylic, Soft Acrylic Matte. This looks like a really interesting colour. I don't remember seeing this. I do not recall seeing this in any of the boxes. Multi-support single layer paint. Indelible when dry. Well, it's acrylic paint, I would hope so. This is a lot more offensive IRL than it is on camera. The studio lights and the white balance on the camera are making it look a bit more Pepto-Bismol than it actually is. It's more raspberry-y than Pepto-Bismol, and that is an incredible colour. See, this is why I end up with so many acrylic paints, because I'm like, oh, look at the colour of that. Oh god, there's another one. And this is a gloss one though, so this will dry shiny. And that is pretty offensive as well. Again, it looks a lot more washed out on the camera. Can't be an offensive orange here in the cave. Okay, so that's interesting. That's stuff that we've not had. Also my mortal enemy, Winsor & Newton masking fluid. And this is watercolor masking fluid. The Winsor & Newton masking fluid stinks to high heaven. It's really messy. I know some people don't mind working out of a bottle like this. I have converted fully to the little masking pens. It's the Molotov one I've got, or is it the Schminke one I've got? No, I think it's a Schminke one I've got. They're much, much easier to use. Obviously, if you're wanting to cover larger areas in a painting, this is the route that you need to go down. The thing that gets me with the Winsor & Newton one in particular, it actually says it on the bottle. It says slightly pigmented. If you're going to pigment it so that you can see where you've put it on white paper, why would you pick a colour so close to white? Why would you not make it blue like Schminke and Molotov did? Who knows? So yeah, not a fan of that. I suppose someone would, especially if you're much more of a painterly type than me, that would come in handy. But yeah, not for me. I can't stand the smell of it. It's such an odd smell. Right, we have got a jumbo tube of Azo Yellow Light, and this is Van Gogh oil. I wonder if we've got any other oil paints. We do. What is this? Le Franc. Okay, I haven't heard of this brand. Le Franc. I'm assuming that's how you pronounce it, French. Extra Fine Artist's Oil Colour, Violet Mineral. Well, that sounds quite nice. So we've got some oil paint here. So we've got complementary colours. We've got purple and yellow, or violet and yellow. And we've also got a cobalt turquoise colour. Interesting. And a turquoise blue as well. What a lovely set of colours. Oh, we've got another one, hang on. Oh, we've got yellow here as well. So we've got a lot of yellow. That's really nice. I'm impressed with that. This would be really nice. Again, if you were going to buy this big box, this would be nice to dabble with because you can get oil paper now. So basically it's just a paper with a coating on it to be more like a canvas for you to use your oil paints on. You don't have to go through the rigmarole and stretched canvases and whatnot the way you used to. That's really interesting that they've included some oil paints. I'm impressed with that in a weird kind of way. Not sure what that means, but it's kind of hard for me to explain what I'm thinking about it. Okay, we have got some gouache here. Artist's Extra Fine Gouache. What have we got here? So this is the same company. This is Lefranc and Bourgeois. Made in France. En France. We have a rich green deep. We have a cadmium yellow light. And we also have a blue-grey colour. Ooh, Gem likes greens and the blue-greys. So yeah, we've got every type of paint. Okay, so so far I am quite impressed with what we've got. Let's continue on our little journey and see what else we can find in this box. Okay, we're into like surfaces now. So we've got mixed media sketchbook. These are the little stitched Artpace ones. I've got 2 of those. These are great for sticking in a bag. See if you're a bit precious of your sketchbook. Maybe you've got an expensive sketchbook, or maybe you've got, like me, quite a big sketchbook. Not the easiest thing to lug around. Having a mixed media soft cover like this is great because you can tuck it inside like a winter coat pocket or in a back, well, it's maybe quite big for a back pocket, but it's easy to slip into a bag. And so they're actually really handy to have, I think. And the Artpace mixed media paper isn't bad at all. I'm just looking as well, they're also quite thick as well. Like, that's a lot of paper in there. That's a lot of paper in there. Oh yes, now this is exciting as well. I loved this paper. We did get some of this, and they do different, it's not just Bristol board that they do. They do other types of paper as well, but I really like this paper. It was super smooth. And there's 15 sheets in this pad as well. This is really nice paper. This is good paper. It's great for everything, honestly. Apart from maybe if you like to layer up coloured pencils, that's probably the not a thing you would go for. But a lot of people like to use coloured pencil on Bristol paper, especially Prismacolors, because you can smoosh the colour about. You know, you can do a lot of blending with it, so that's good to have. Oh, this is also great paper as well. Sonic Wall. This is 100% bleed proof. This is marker paper. This paper has a coating on it so that you can't see it at all on the other side. This is superb, this paper. I really like this, and this is an A5. I really like the fact that this is in a ring pad as well with a perforation. So when you're finished you can tear it off. Like really recommend the Sonic wallpaper, because some of these truly bleed proof papers where you can't see where it's ghosted through on the back side, some of the papers are quite expensive, but the Artpace one's really good. And we've got a zigzag sketchbook as well. I remember getting a dinky one of these, I don't remember getting a big one, and this is just basically like a big concertina, all opens out, and this is watercolour paper. That's 300 GSM paper, so perfect for panoramic scenes and endless creativity. Yeah, what is this? Winsor & Newton drawing and sketching paper, medium surface cartridge pad, 130 GSM, so yeah, it's got cartridge paper, better for drawing mediums such as pencils. Take a little bit of ink as well. This doesn't have cellophane on it, so I can show you. It's a kind of off-white colour. It has a bit of texture. I like cartridge paper because I like to draw in graphite. It's one of my favourite things to do. And this is a medium grain, it's telling us on it. I have never seen this before. They're recommending pencil, colour pencil, charcoal pastel, oil pastel, so dry mediums. That makes sense as well. How many sheets? 30 sheets of paper in that as well. God, you're never going to run out of paper if you buy one of these. I've also found some other fabric stuff. So here's the other Giotto pen. This is opaque white for brush, stencil and screen printing applications on fabrics. Yes, so this was in a previous box. Ooh. Okay, so the next thing we've got is a pack of extra smooth surface drawing pads. This is also Winsor & Newton, and that I can't quite see underneath the label, but it's Bristol board. 20 sheets in a pad, and there's 3 pads there. And that's 250 GSM paper as well. How nice is this? Like, there's lots of surfaces, and I'm really enjoying that, because obviously when it comes to art, if you do happen to use those types of surfaces for whichever art you do, it's the one thing that's consumable. Obviously you replace paintbrushes and pens and things far less frequently than you do paper. So it's nice that they've given us a huge chunk. So the last thing that's in this box in terms of paper is a pack of Artpace watercolour blocks. There's two sheets of tracing paper here, 300 GSM, so there's 36 sheets in a pad, and there's 2 pads. They've also included a water brush and a graphite pencil as well, which is absolutely delightful. Like, this is great. Look at all that paper. These are the rest of the paintbrushes. Again, these are left over from previous boxes. A very cheap flat brush. It's actually hollow, the handle, and there are characters on it that I don't recognise. They might be Korean. Not entirely sure. And a little Lineal Zero brush, and this little travel brush, I love this brush. This is delightful. This was it's actually the Upcrate one, but this is the one with the nice wooden handle on it. This is a really nice paintbrush. Someone would have nice fun with that. Some travel brushes I feel are a bit dinky even when they're like folded out, but that one's nice, and I like the bristles on that too. Okay, there's a few random bits in here. We've got a Factus soft eraser. That was actually quite a good eraser as well. I liked it. Another pack of these tiny little dinky bulldog clips, and a sponge. I can't remember what the sponge was for. Was that in with the fabric paints box? Not entirely sure. Speaking of fabric paints, I found the last Giotto textile marker. Nicely done. Okay, this is the loose stuff. Okay, so we've got some random pens. Here's this green pen. This was in the last, was it the last box? In the cyanotype box. So another one of them. We've got 2 Artpace markers. I do believe these are alcohol markers, and they've got a brush and a chisel tip. We've got a violet colour and a pale yellow colour there. Also got an Ecoline brush pen in pastel yellow randomly, and the spare metallic Spectrum Noir marker. This is the one that was dried out in a lot of people's boxes, or they just didn't get it at all and they ended up sending it out in a separate box. So we've got one of those. One of these Marvel Le Plume pens again, which I wasn't that bothered about, but yep, okay. Another fine liner, a 0.4. Quite a nice nib on it as well. More charcoal pencils, another white Lyra. This is an oil pastel pencil. I don't know why I've got such a problem with Lyra Rembrandt. Then a charcoal pencil as well. Oh, I've dropped something, god damn it. Another Leufer pencil and another Maped Oops pencil, this time in a rather fetching shade of blue. We've got another box of Artist's charcoal. This has seen better days. It's a bit squashed. Was 3 pieces, it's now about 16 pieces. Doesn't really matter, still works the same. I actually like working with a smaller piece of charcoal, but again, it's Winsor & Newton charcoal, willow charcoal, so it's good quality stuff. And last but not least, we have a pack of the That's another one. Viva watercolor sheets. And this is the spring set. These are really, really popular. I'm not really a fan of them. I don't travel much, and when I do, I don't paint. They're actually really nice. Somebody that travels a lot would be able to make great use out of these. The colours are so vibrant, like so vibrant. That is a gigantic box, and that was a lot of stuff. My impressions, I was really worried that this was just going to be a box of cast-offs, and granted there are cast-offs in it, but the amount of drawing surfaces they've given us, the variety of paint, the acrylic paint set, the oil pastels, as well as the oil paints. I think this is a really good variety box, and if you maybe don't have a lot of art supplies or you haven't really branched out in terms of trying different mediums, I think this would be an amazing box. Or you could split it with a friend. Maybe like me, you've got a friend who is into one thing more than another, and you could divvy the supplies up between you. I think if you're a regular subscriber to Upcrate, up until very recently, the box might not be worthwhile for you, but maybe if Upcrate is a subscription that you've always wanted to have, I would definitely recommend this box. It's worth paying the one-off price for with the postage. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to split all this stuff up into categories, and I'm going to give you a rough price, you know, what the items are actually worth, and we'll add it all up and we'll see roughly what it comes to see if we are indeed getting our money's worth. Alright, so down to business then. In terms of monetary value, what are we getting here? I have erred on the side of conservative estimates for values in terms of where the recommended retail price is, but also please bear in mind that these prices are what I can find them for here in the UK, and I've done a fairly quick search. I have not bargain hunted every single item, because if I did, this video would not be ready for Cavemas, let alone the time that you're supposed to be seeing it, which is November. So I've just done a kind of quick search here. These prices will also fluctuate obviously, but I just want to give a ballpark to see if we're really getting our money's worth or not. So the first category is these sets. So with the acrylics from Winsor & Newton and the oil pastels, that's worth about £25 here in the UK. Then we've got our drawing surfaces. So this is all of the pads, all of the sketchbooks, of which there is a mighty royal metric ton of, and I've estimated the value of this lot at about £58. Now, if we just stop for a little bit of a conversion here, the paper and those two sets alone comes to a UK Great British pound value of £83. Now, we paid €89 for the box, which is about 78 British pounds, so already we've got our money's worth, and that's just from the paper and those two sets. But let's keep going, we're not finished. Okay, next up we're dealing with what I'm calling the accessories. So fine liners, about £6 if you kind of like evened it all out. These are very, very rough prices, by the way. Bear in mind I do sell art supplies though, so I would like to think my figures are relatively accurate. So £6, so averaging about £1.50 each, because some are cheaper than others. This sort of set of accessories, I've just called that a fiver, because why not? And a couple of pounds, £3 for this roll of tape. All of the brushes, including the water brush and this lovely travel brush. So I've given a collective price of £10 for those. Because this little pony brush is probably worth about 60p. Might as well give it numbers that are easy to count. And then finally, collectively again for the markers, I've said £10. To be fair, they're not much use on their own, but ones like this I would expect, if you did a bit of digging, to be able to pick up for maybe £2.50, £3 each. Maybe £4 at a push, but I'm not going to be that generous in this instance. So for this category of all the extras, that comes to £34. Okay, next up we have all the charcoal. So I've kind of lumped all this together. Charcoal lump, get it? Bear in mind that this is slightly damaged. So the two sets of willow charcoal, the eraser, the little glove and everything, I've put a value of around £20 on that. These pencils, the charcoal pencils, are quite expensive to buy individually, but if you buy a pack of them they're a lot cheaper, so I kind of went somewhere in the middle. So yeah, £20 for that. The Winsor & Newton drawing inks, they average about £3.50 each here in the UK, so £7 for those. And this was kind of a difficult one to price. I've priced this as a set at £7. These cotton tote bags you can literally pick up for £1. And the 40ml bottles, so double the size of one of these, you can get for about £3.50, £4. So I've given that set a total of £7 as well. I think that's fairly generous. So that brings the total of the total value of that group of items to £34 as well. And then all that leaves us is this box of paint stuff. Next up we have the Viviva watercolor sheets, managed it first time, about £14.50. Masking fluid, £5, easily and readily available here in the UK. The large Liquitex soft body, the prices varied on these, so I plumped in the middle at £7 for a tub this size. There were colours that were a lot cheaper, but they were quite hard to get of, and there was maybe only one in stock, that kind of thing. The deco paints I couldn't find a price for. I went onto the Lefranc & Bourgeois website and they're not even listed there. So I found a similar product. So I've ballparked them at £8 for both. The little Liquitex Basics tubes, you can't buy them in this size individually here in the UK. They come as a set of 12, so they work out about £1 per tube. This gouache, also from Lefranc & Bourgeois, seemed to be relatively good quality. Worked it out, this was in euros because I had to go to the French website. So that works out about £17 for all three of those tubes. This is where it gets interesting. On to the oil paints. Now, oil paints are probably the ones that fluctuate the most because there's a lot of original pigments rather than synthetic pigments used to make up the colours. So the price between one colour and another can fluctuate wildly within the same range of paints. It depends how rare or expensive the components are that make up the oil paint. So this Van Gogh oil colour, the Azo Yellow Light, this great big tube here is doing as a favourite at £5-ish. Now this is where it gets really interesting. When I looked up the Lefranc extra fine oils, these were obviously the end of line. They've changed the packaging and I could not find this particular colour, so I found an equivalent. But what is really interesting is you can pick up this tube for about £7. Again, this was in euros, I had to convert it back to pounds. I'm going to put it back into euros, which is weird, but yeah, that is what it is. So £7 for that, and this violet colour goes up to £10. This one that I couldn't find, I found a similar turquoise colour and it was about £7 as well. The cobalt turquoise, obviously because it has cobalt in it, this is £26 a tube. £26. So you really have got yourself a bargain here with that. Cost going by the website for the paints alone comes in at £102.50. So now I am curious to know where Upcrate got their €116 from. Have they not priced their own products? I did double check and make sure that I was pricing things, especially when it came to these oil paints, the £26 job here, €30. It is the same paint. Upcrate have lowballed themselves, but they may have done a calculation based on the wholesale costs, which is what I think it is. Obviously, I'm looking at these from a retail perspective, because obviously, from the viewpoint of the customer, we want to know what it would cost us if we were to go elsewhere and buy that for ourselves, not buy it in bulk. So I think that's where the disparity is. But in terms of what we are paying for the big Christmas box, I use that wee loosely, obviously, because I pay for it. You're getting a lot of stuff for your money. Just looking around there to make sure I hadn't forgotten anything. So, time for the grand totals then. If we add up everything we've just gone through, then it comes to £253. Here we are in other currencies. So this is on the basis that you would go out and buy these supplies separately. If you did that, this is what it would cost you roughly. I would maybe give yourself £20 leeway either side. But again, it's just to give you a ballpark. So in terms of value, because I know that a lot of you are going to be quite critical of this in that sense, and it's probably good that I've done this as an exercise, you're absolutely 100% getting value for money, paying €89 for the box. Even with shipping on top of it, as I said, shipping to the UK was €16, which is pretty cheap actually. So even if the postage is a little bit over the odds, say for example if you're going to ship it to the States, your shipping might be, you know, considerably more expensive. it's still going to be worth your while versus going and buying all these supplies separately. So I don't know about you guys, but I for one am very, very, very impressed, and I would like to say a big thank you to Upcrate again for their generosity, because what we are going to do is, with the majority of the supplies that have come in this box, we're going to split them up into a couple of little goodie bags, and they are going to be giveaway prizes for Cavemas this year. So that was kind of the barter with Upcrate, because I went with my begging bowl, like, I need free stuff, it's for charity, and they very kindly said, well, I'll tell you what, then we'll send you this box and not make you pay for it if you unbox it on your channel. So that's exactly what we've done. So if you like some of these supplies, keep your little peepers peeled a bit closer to Cavemas, and see if the things you're looking for are going to be part of the bumper prize packages. So I think that's a really nice way to end this video. I would love to know your thoughts. I'm going to be honest, as I always am, I was very sceptical about this entire exercise, and I was really, really hoping that I wasn't going to open this box and it was going to be leftover markers and fine liners. That was my worry. I am pleased to say that Upcrate have come up trumps. They've done a really good job of getting rid of old stock, which is something that's important to do, especially in this economic climate. You can't have stock sitting there because it's dead weight. This was a great way to get rid of the stragglers from the old boxes, but they've also put some really good stuff in there as well. I'm really glad that they've put a lot of paper in there, because as I said before, that's the consumable, that's the thing that you are going to go through most. And for the most part, I really like the Artpace paper. There's a couple of things that we've had and I've been a bit kind of like, I would keep that for something else, but we've got Winsor & Newton paper in there as well. So overall, cave thumbs up for the big Christmas box from Upcrate. Get down into the comments, guys. I would love, love, love to hear what you think of this. As I say, I know you've all been quite critical of subscription boxes in general this last little while, so I would love to see if you think this is different, or maybe if it's something you would consider in purchasing for yourself, or, you know, splurging out just as a one-off rather than a subscription. Look forward to those comments. I bet I'll be reading those for a while. Thanks very much for coming and hanging out today, guys. That is us. We're all done and dusted, and I hope you have enjoyed yourself and found something awesome, maybe slightly enlightening today. I'll see you back in the cave on Thursday. We're going back into small victories, back to our little galaxy scene with Johanna Basford. Have a great day, everyone. Bye bye for now.